My mother-in-law disrespected me in front of my husband's affair partner, so I called her out. Oh my. So, right after my husband and I got married, he was served with paternity papers for a child he did not know about.
Oh, lovely.
You get home, it's like, oh, baby, what a wonderful honeymoon. This is so beautiful.
Surprise!
You have an affair, baby.
Oh,
Gotcha, sucker.
get it.
Now, a month before our engagement, a year before, he had cheated on me with some random girl that was his friend. The friend had gotten pregnant and never told him. I think because she knew about me. And yes, I know I should have left, but I have been trying to make it work. I am now pregnant with his baby. By the way, this comes from Important Rip 9882 from r/OK Storytime. So submit more insanity to our subreddit. We gotta love it. So for the baby's first birthday, my in-laws had her birthday party. The baby and the baby's mother live in another state. I believe the affair baby. So at the birthday party, my mother-in-law kept saying that she wanted pictures of just my husband, the mistress, and the baby, and we had brushed her off. Then she wanted a picture in front of a backdrop that she created. My husband stood up to take a picture and told me to come too. My mother-in-law got upset by saying she just wanted a picture with the three of them, the husband, the affair partner, and the affair baby. I didn't say anything, but my husband responded that she was doing too much. He knew I was already uncomfortable. I sat down and pictures were taken.
At least he was uncomfortable with it.
At a bare minimum. This has already dampened the mood. You don't say. Eventually, my mother-in-law ended up crying and running out of the room. She comes back saying she feels disrespected. In response, I cut her off and told her coldly that I don't want drama. I go outside to calm down and they all think that I'm going to leave, but I come back in. I let this go, and even afterwards, I tried being amicable, such as inviting them over for family meals. Eventually, other issues with my mother-in-law surfaced. I'm trying to keep this short, so I won't go into detail now. Her and I ended up going to dinner to clear the air. We started talking about the other issues. She starts saying she's never disrespectful. I cut her off by telling her that what she did at the baby's party was extremely disrespectful and hurtful. She says the convo was done and she is not talking anymore, so I left after trying to pay the tab. Let's stop real quick. Wow. Okay. So, Riley.
Yes.
Anthony.
Yes.
Yes. Wow. Let's talk about some conspiracy theories. There must be some tie with the mistress and the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Why would the mother-in-law favor the mistress? This is pure insanity.
Well, one, the mistress is a friend of OP. Two, my conspiracy theory is that the mistress is a family friend, and that's why she's like really close. And three, I think that this is the mother's first grandchild. So that's why she's like, I want to make it seem like a happy family for them.
The first grandchild does make a lot of sense. Yeah, it was not OP's friend, but the husband's friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it was like a friend through like some family friend ties or whatever.
Yeah, the husband's friend.
Which still makes sense with your theory. And the first, I mean, we've seen some insane first grandbaby syndrome. Usually it's with the adopted kids where it's like there's a kid adopted, they're like, oh no, but that's not my real grandchild. But maybe this grandma is like, oh no, this is my first.
That's blood.
And that's all I need.
That's mine.
That's all I need. Well, afterwards, I sent a text about boundaries, which included not disrespecting me around his mistress again. I had told her that due to my pregnancy, my mental health is what matters. Back to Riley's point, I think her baby isn't born yet. So this is currently the only outside baby.
Only grandchild out there.
Only baby that she can hold. I am a high-risk pregnancy, and I already had a couple miscarriage scares. She never responded to the text. Eventually, my father-in-law gets involved and says that it wasn't her intent to be disrespectful as an apology. He says the picture was for the baby, so it wasn't disrespectful. However, they now feel disrespected, feel like I only care about my feelings and I am being one-sided. Was I disrespectful? Am I the a-hole for being upset after my mother-in-law wanted pictures of just my husband, his mistress, and their oopsie baby? That's literally what OP wrote. Okay, guys, we have an edit coming up. We have the end of the story coming up in that edit. But let's take a quick break before we get into that. Riley and Anthony.
Ask away.
Is OP the a-hole for being upset with the two of them? Anthony.
Just to clarify a few things. There was a picture being taken with the mother-in-law, the son, the mistress.
The affair baby, and the husband. So it's like the affair family picture.
The affair family, and she was not allowed in the picture, obviously.
Yes.
Like, okay.
She was like exiled from the picture, basically.
Yeah.
So she's like, why are you prioritizing an affair family picture? That's crazy.
Was that the birthday? Was there a birthday party?
That was the birthday for the affair baby.
Yes.
So, hot take?
Cook. Give it to me.
Hot take? That's not a crazy thing to do. That's not a crazy thing to do, to be like...
Neither did I. That's a good point to be made.
You know, like, just put yourself in the shoes. It's kind of fucked up that they're all kind of there together, like, in this event. But it's not a crazy thing to not have that person be in the picture.
I think that is a super valid point. I didn't think about that either. But you know what, guys? There's an edit. So this escalated quickly. Yes, I know I am dumb for staying, but we are working on it. There's complete transparency between the husband and I. He is trying. He has made lifestyle changes and even changed his career to a more family-oriented career for me. I am angry with him too, as I have told him all of this is his fault. He has taken accountability and he is trying to make things right. Yeah, there wouldn't be an affair family if he didn't have an affair.
Yeah.
I have the means and help from loved ones to leave, and he knows this. I have my own career, and I would be just fine as a single mother. I have done it before with my now grown children.
What?
So OP has raised full-grown children's and is now having another baby, doing it over. So many plot twists.
How old is she?
Maybe she's like late 30s. She could have a baby at 20, then have another baby in her
Yeah,
late
that's what my
30s.
mom did. Yeah, because she's like 45 and she has like one set and me set.
It happens, baby.
Wow.
My current pregnancy was not planned. Leaving is not completely off the table, and he knows that thought is on my mind. I have told him that his parents will be part of the reason if we divorce. I have had the divorce papers already signed and printed for a while, bro.
Damn!
OP's like, it's locked and loaded.
Oh my gosh.
It's here. I'll put it down for now, but it's right here.
I honestly do not know how I feel about that.
My husband wants his parents out after the last conversation. My husband has always hated his mother and only has a relationship with her due to his father. My husband from the start told me not to get involved with his mother because he knows how she is. They are good grandparents. I have another stepdaughter that we have custody of. Why didn't you mention that earlier? We wouldn't want her to suffer because of the adult drama. She is the reason why he's still been in contact, as they have always been actively involved in her life. After the last convo, he is contemplating that. By the way, we're live every day at 3 p.m. PST. So what are you doing? Join us. Tap the profile. But Riley, tap my brain with your takes. We're almost at the end of the story here. What are your thoughts on her having the divorce papers locked and loaded?
Yeah, the divorce papers, people make some mistakes, and this couple decided to work through this mistake instead of divorcing through it. It is very strange to me that she kind of has that there. Like, she might have it there for herself, but does he know about it? What I don't want to happen is that she's holding this over his head.
Yeah.
Like, the next strong thing you do, you're out of here. That doesn't seem healthy.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think, but on the flip side, like, if she wanted to leave, I mean, he had a full baby with his mistress, with his affair partner.
But it was 13 months before the engagement, and were they together then? That's my thought. If they were still together?
I don't think it's a mistress if they're not together.
Oh, okay.
By definition.
Yeah.
That's where my head was.
They
were
in a relationship the entire time, because they found out about the baby literally like immediately after they got married, which means they didn't give us the exact timeline, but I think we can pretty safely assume they were at a minimum in a relationship, if not engaged, a year before they got married. Unless they got married in like 6 months or something.
Okay, so she has it ready.
I think she has it ready because when it all happened, she probably drew them up.
Gotcha.
I mean, if your partner goes and has another child without you, and you're like, let me drop some divorce papers and I have them locked and loaded. Not locked and loaded, but like I have them because I drew them up when it initially happened, which sounds like is what happened. I don't falter for that. And I think like when you make a mistake that big, the amount of work you have to do to build the trust back is like massive. And, to your point, I do think there probably is a point where it's like too much, where you can kind of like beat them over the head with it. But I generally think that there's like so much trust to build back.
Yeah.
That there seems to be this like certain level of like, look, this is what I need from you to stay in the relationship. And honestly, I can leave. I think more context would be helpful.
But the story was more the issue with the mother-in-law. The edit is giving context of their relationship. I don't think they are having anything like this. They worked through that. I think it was just giving like, hey, because he was uncomfortable with the picture being made, and he's made style changes to be more family oriented. So this is more issues with the mother-in-law.
I think where I stand right now, although it could be, there is a world where there's like too much. Like, for instance, if you remind them in every conversation.
Hey, I got those divorce papers ready for you.
Yeah. If it's literally every conversation.
Sure, you want to have that fight right now?
That's clearly too much. But yeah, I think it's a hard place to peg where it is too much and it isn't too much. I'm sure people in the members only live right now and probably that are watching this episode on YouTube and Spotify probably agree with you. And I do think there is such a thing as too much, and that is interesting. Before we get into this final part of the story, Anthony, what are your thoughts, if you have any?
So is OP wondering whether she should divorce? Is that sort of their predicament?
Yeah, we're kind of discussing, like, is it too much that she has these divorce papers, we're assuming from like early in the process? Is she like being too like quote unquote overbearing with like, hey, I have the divorce papers, here they are?
Yeah, I think a couple more moves by the mom and I'm gone, you know, because it seems like if you didn't leave off the bat,
yeah,
because of this dude, then you sort of made that decision. But now that if it's because of a different reason, then you have the right. You had the right to leave in the beginning, and now you have more rights to leave.
Right.
So it's like,
the first offense was the affair baby being created, and now the second offense is like, oh, now the mother-in-law and father-in-law are gonna make my life a living hell. Okay, pieces, deuce out. Yeah, I think I'm closer to that's a chat. Chat is split. 51% says too much. Literally, like almost on the dot, split evenly.
I thought it was going to be like, nah.
Yeah.
All good.
I know. Interesting. Wow. Okay, I'm super curious. YouTube comments when this comes out. Please share your thoughts below.
Yes.
But let's get into this final part. So
let's take a quick pause on this story right here. Gotta tell you something.
Okay.
I've been reading so many stories.
We were calculating it actually. Yeah.
72,800. No, 80.
8,600 minutes.
I'm starting to feel the effects.
Like what?
My lips are cracking.
Oh no.
Because I have to open my mouth every day.
Oh God.
My eyes are drying up.
I would cry for you, but I can't.
I have no tears left to cry.
Is there anything we can do to possibly help heal your ailments?
There's one.
What is it?
ZocDoc.
ZocDoc! ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and choose the right one for your needs and click instantly to book an appointment.
We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty. From mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much more.
You can filter your doctors who take your insurance, who are located nearby, who are a good fit for any medical need that you might have, and who are highly rated by verified patients.
You can also see their actual appointment openings, choose a time that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit.
Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast! Lickety-split. Typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking, you can even score some same-day appointments. It's pretty great, right?
Pretty amazing.
Listen, Sophia, I use ZocDoc, we use ZocDoc. You should freaking use it too, guys. Use ZocDoc.
So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/OKOP to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/OKOP, ZocDoc.com/OKOP. Let's get back into the show. The convo with my father-in-law was actually with my husband. My husband was defending me and saying that it was disrespectful. He told them to apologize, and in their mind, they had by saying it wasn't their intent to be disrespectful. So basically, they're like, oh, we didn't mean it, and they believe that that's their apology. I overheard the convo and responded. My father-in-law has texted since, basically suggesting family therapy, and that's it. That is literally all we got here. So to close things out here, do we stay in the relationship? If you are OP, you stayed through the affair baby being born. You've stayed through the mother-in-law and the father-in-law taking all these pictures and whatnot. I feel like it's kind of been a little all over the place. To Anthony's point in the beginning, them taking a family photo isn't crazy for the family of the baby's birthday party.
Yeah.
But also, like,
are you staying or not?
oh, honestly, I think I probably would have left in the beginning with the baby.
Ooh. But you're already a year and a half in. You're at this point.
Yeah, you can't go back in time.
Right, I can't go back in time. I'm right here. I think that I would probably say, like, hey, look, you know, I've already stayed through all of this. The kind of like condition of me staying is that maybe you're doing everything in your power, maybe not, maybe there's more that could be done. But like at the end of the day, is my life being made like a living hell by staying in this relationship? I think that's kind of the bottom line. Like,
yeah,
even if the husband is like doing absolutely everything, and is the solution like going in like maybe low contact or maybe even no contact with the in-laws. I think that's
The
an unfair
husband
ask.
seems to be doing everything he can. He defended her.
I think that the husband is doing a good job so far.
So you staying or not?
Say it.
Say it. I think no, because I wouldn't want to stay in the beginning.
You were on the fence and this just tipped you over to the other side.
Yeah, especially if I've already stayed through the affair, baby. I'm like, I don't want to make my life a living hell. Hey, listen, if you're fighting for me, I appreciate that. But like at the end of the day, there comes a point where it's like, I don't want to have to deal with this.
Gotcha.
Because of something I don't want to live in a mess that I didn't make.
Yeah, I'm staying.
All right, plead your case.
We already worked through the affair, baby, and the family. This incident happened once. I believe the husband's on my side. I'm the OP. The husband's on my side. He says it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
We can work through it. I believe so.
I think to your credit, like showing the work that we have seen or what he has done, it does seem that he has, I mean, the fact that he changes his career to a more family oriented, I'm guessing like more family time in the right city that makes things, he can help with the kids and whatnot.
Because I don't know
That's
how
good.
hard it would be to find another partner that is okay with that life at this point in time.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like OP has had kids already. Like she's done the single mom thing
Yeah.
already. So it's like, okay, maybe she doesn't want to do that again. And yeah, the family's not perfect, but
Could be better than not.
yeah.
Although the way she was talking about it, she's like, I'm fine with being a single mom. I've got a good career.
True.
I have family support. Also, and so people in poll right now are voting
69.
68% nah,
69%.
69% nah. So as in don't stay.
As in, don't stay.
Leave the relationship.
They're out. They're with you.
Yeah, I think I'm there. Anthony, where would you say you are?
I think
Gotta say it.
should I stay or should I go? I think at this point in time, I'd probably stay until like the family does something that's just so annoying. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's it. I'm gone. And maybe this already is that, but like you made your like if you're the type of person, not me, but if you're the type of person who says, okay, I'll stay with this dude and this baby, then you're probably gonna think it's fine to stay.
Right.
So
There we have it. Hey, got a split story.
Wow.
But you know what's better than a split story?
Another story?
A whole new story. Let's get into it.
My parents don't consider all of my kids family, so I won't let them see my bio daughter. I, 40 male, and my wife, 32 female, are in agreement over this, but I would like the opinion from non-family. I'll try to keep this as short as possible, but it's a really long story. There are questions. I'll be gladly add extra info in a comment. Oh, and also this comes from Tasty Helicopter 904 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. You have a story. Where can they go, John?
r/OK story time.
That's right.
Put it there.
This started at the end of last year. My job of 10 years sold me out to a big company that would only keep me on board for less money and no bonuses. And they screwed me over on my stock ownership. So I said, F you guys, and decided to leave town and stay and bring my family out to where I actually wanted to live for a long time. This decision ended up not being popular with my parents, specifically my mother, who did not like that she wouldn't get to see her grandkids, 13 male, 10 male, and 7 female, nearly as often. Instead of 3 miles away, it would be a 8-hour drive. This didn't factor into my plans though, as I was working on getting everything set and my wife/kids were excited.
Dude, grandparents are rabid. There's something about like your kid having a kid that just turns you feral.
My mom does say whenever I was talking about Angie, like, yeah, like, it's looking good. She's like, well, you're not going to stay in LA forever, right? You're going to come to the East Coast, right? You're not going to stay there.
My mom is like, oh, I'll come out to you guys. And I've told her, oh, I'll just get you an apartment.
Like, a mother is already very protective over their own child, but it seems like it goes to another level whenever their children
It
have
doubles
children.
in every layer. It doubles in every layer. You heard it here first. Okay, story time.
Wow. So it makes sense why she's upset. In March, we sold our house, and the closing date was set to be April 30th. Our new house was a closing date of May 1st. Where are you going to live that night?
Streets.
The streets. This presented a problem. My wife already had started her new job and was camping out with my older brother who lived in the same town near where her new job was. But we had decided that we wanted our kids to finish the school year at the old school. We would have to figure out a place to live for the interim between April 30th and when the school year ended on June 3rd. My parents graciously offered for us to stay with them for the month-ish of time, and I accepted because it would be a hell of a lot cheaper than a hotel. I knew it would be stressful, but oh boy, did I underestimate how much.
They're going into the lion's den. They're going to trap him.
They're going to trap him.
Conspiracy theory.
Take him hostage.
Put an ICU in the comments if you see where that's headed.
I feel like it's not going to be with ropes and gags. It'll be with Twizzlers and YouTube that the grandparents are going to trap him.
That was very, very stark visual analogy, Mr. Wilson.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. We'll see what happens.
The first couple of weeks weren't too bad, but then my mom made a comment of how she was glad to see the boys weren't legally mine. The older boys are from my wife, previous marriage, only our daughter is genetically ours. I looked at her funny and asked what she was talking about. She said that it was good that we wouldn't have to be responsible for them in the summer. New custody agreement was summers with bio dad and school year with bio mom, and that I wouldn't have to worry about them. I was very confused by this because the day after I proposed to my now wife, I went and legally adopted and took responsibility for the boys, and have always been careful to treat all 3 kids equally as possible, that I was going to miss them during the summer. I explained that I had legally adopted them to her, and she responded with, well, that was a mistake.
Wow. And to quickly break that down, so basically, OP, he's currently watching the kids of his, I guess, ex-wife.
I think it's his current wife. His current wife had a previous marriage.
Sorry, his current wife had a previous
Yes.
marriage. Thank you. And so he's caring for these kids that he has legally adopted, but they also now have a arrangement where it's like, okay, they're going to spend the summer and school year with the bio mom and dad. So it's like, yeah, it's not going to be his
No. Bio mom is OP's wife.
Yep.
And then bio dad is where they're going to
Okay, so
spend
he
the
will
summers.
be watching it. Yeah. So it's like, oh, for the summers, it's not going to be your responsibility. He's like, these are my kids.
Yeah.
What did we say last story? It's not your real kids. We literally just said that in the last story.
Did.
The
I totally
grandparents
remember
with
that.
We called it.
We did.
Called it.
Oh, I see, because the grandparents are...
Yes, the
I'm
grandparents.
with you now, John. I'm with you.
I love this slightly delayed excitement. Let's freaking go.
Oh,
okay,
man.
but what? Okay, what's going on next?
It took everything in me, everything I had, not to blow up at her at that moment. I held my tongue and asked her what she meant. What followed was a 2-hour-long rant about she doesn't think my wife is right for me. She thinks I should be with one of my exes who falsely accused me of SA and cheated on me with 3 other men, which my mother knows.
Hey guys, can we answer this? What is it with these like older parents that want their kids to be with terrible people? Why? Oh, hey, be with the mistress. Oh, hey, be with this woman who cheated on you 3 times.
Just think it out. Come on. It'll be fun. You know, conspiracy theory.
What?
The ex lives in her hometown. That's why she wants her to stay. That's why he wants her to get with her.
I like that. That could definitely check out.
Oh. That was my mom. I'd be so sad. She thinks that taking legal responsibility for the boys was a mistake. She called my wife a biatch, that hussy, and a couple other things that honestly I don't even remember because I got so mad. She believes that I am in the wrong for leaving her behind and should stay nearby since my job was remote. She believes that I'm being petty about telling my job to F off. Screw me out over $120K in stock options. And she knows this too. Yes, I'm fighting this legally, but this is a whole other story. What is this mother on? Oh my gosh.
Just lose all your money and stay with the girl who cheats on you, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Is that too much to ask? Lose all your money and marry a cheater?
Have a miserable life and stick beside me.
Yeah, that'll make me happy.
Ay. But the big kicker was when I asked her who she thought was her family after she went on a spiral for several minutes about not having family left. She replied that her family was her sons, me and my older brother. I looked at her hard and asked if she was sure. She thought about it and added my daughter to the list and my brother's daughter to the list. She didn't add my wife, the boy, my sister-in-law, who has been married to my brother for 15 years, my dad, her sister, her brothers, or cousins, or anyone else. That's 8. She left out all those people.
Even blood isn't good enough for her. She's like, you gotta be, I don't even know.
Yay. Then I asked if my wife and the boys weren't family to her. She said that they weren't her family and that they shouldn't be mine either. At that, I was done. I didn't talk to her again for the remainder of the 17 days we were there. They were there for 17 days?
Because they're there in the month transition period between the old house ending and then setting up to move. So they had a month where they've been living with him.
This could be a blessing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's
How so?
like now he knows how she really feels.
And then you move accordingly.
Yeah, like if he weren't in this situation where he had to live with her for a month with these kids that are his, he might never have known how she actually felt.
That's true. Do you conspiracy theorize that he will now, do you think maybe they'll cut him off?
I think he's on the road to cutting
On the
this woman
path?
off. Yeah, I think he's on the path for sure.
You know, I think you could be right.
Oh,
What's the dog doing?
Good question. Is he alive?
Is he around?
Who's dad?
The grandfather, you mean?
Oh yeah, you know what? My conspiracy theory there is this is the classic mom that runs the show, mom and grandma, mother-in-law that runs the show.
I see. I want to know where they live. If it's in the South,
If it's in the South, what?
South of America, not South America, but South where I'm from. Like sometimes this happens. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, you guys get me. My North Carolina peeps get me.
We know and love our boy Riley.
Yeah.
But what do we got next?
We got this next. Now, it needs to be said that this by no means a one-off day with hurtful comments. My wife has been dealing with my mother's insensitive and frankly mean comments for almost 9 years at that point. Me and my wife have been to 2 different counselors years apart to deal with all the cruel things that my wife has had to endure during my mother. And we've been working for years to establish boundaries that have just got ignored. 90% of our fights were either due to her directly or because we were stressed about dealing with her and fought over other stupid crap. Yeah, you gotta cut
You
this
gotta
off.
cut it.
Ooh, the price is way too high.
You have to cut it.
Dude, think about the thousands of dollars they wasted over this.
What, in the counselors?
Yeah, maybe not wasted. I mean, of course, you know, counselors
Just
are great.
having to go through that.
Yeah.
No, 100%. 9 years?
9 years. That's time you can't buy back.
Can't do it. Could have been recording content during that time.
Could have an awesome YouTube channel by then.
But no, you're here with trauma.
That
suck.
sucks.
Sucks to suck.
Wow, cut your moms off and make YouTube channels. That's what none of us did. Wait, Anthony, how's you and your mom?
How is the relationship between me and my mother?
Yep.
It's pretty good.
All right, so
There
none
we
of us
go.
did it. Let's go. Yeah.
There he is.
Let's go. Man, cool. All right, we sent her a handwritten letter a couple of days after we moved explaining that I was hurt by her statements. My wife was hurt by her, and the boys were hurt by her. She then sent me a picture of the letter being burnt. Just joking. Just joking. That was a joke. That was a joke.
I was like, damn.
Keep going. Oh my God.
I asked her to apologize for the insensitive and hurtful comments. In the letter, we were very specific and said that we were not going to let them visit our house or our kids since they are apparently not her family. That may have been a wiener move, but there were many factors that brought us to that decision, and that was actually the compromise I came up with. As my wife wanted to just straight up no contact with her, that was June 3rd. I haven't heard from her until 6 days ago. She was going to be within a half hour of me for a medical procedure.
So she was coming close by. She was literally like only 30 minutes drive away going to the hospital.
She lives 8 hours away.
They probably live near like a city or like a town center.
Or maybe she chose a very specific hospital for their, you know, they got some special doctors over there that just happen to be 30 minutes away from you.
Okay, that
You
checks
could
out.
easily drop by if you want.
And I offered to come by so we could sit down and talk about everything. After driving up to see her and my dad, she said these 3 words to me. No. When I asked if she wanted to go somewhere and talk and eat or sit in her hotel room and talk, both. When I asked her which she was saying no to. But then after about 10 more minutes of attempting conversation and asking if there was anything she wanted to say or talk about or ask questions, I said that I'd leave, and she said, good. That one hurt. Now, about 2 hours after that, my parents responded with a message about how I should have brought their granddaughter along. I explained that she had pre-existing plans to go to at a water park that I had skipped just to talk to them, and my daughter is not an icebreaker or a fixer for our differences. Nice. With the audacity
They just were like, give me the grandbaby. Feral.
Did you not read the letter? Did you burn it? I think that's what she actually did.
Yeah. She just didn't say it yet. That's coming up in the next part.
The next day, I get inundated with messages from both parents, all of a sudden saying that my mother has a cancerous growth and is going to need surgery and treatment and all this stuff, and how she should be able to see her granddaughter. This all reeks of manipulation to me, and I say no. She needs to hold up to our request for an apology first. This wouldn't be the first time she said that she had cancerous growths to people to get sympathy, and we've known of at least 3 other instances over the past 10 years it has happened.
Wow. What are you thinking, Anthony?
She just like pull up to a hospital and it's like, yo, can I just stay in one of your rooms for a sec?
I think she's
Listen,
like,
my
I have cancer.
My son won't let me see my granddaughter.
Yeah.
This is the only way.
Listen,
Oh
to
my
these
God.
to these feral grandmas, we're dealing with feral grandmas, feral mother-in-laws here. That is not outside their what they would do. It's well within the bounds of what they would do.
Okay, I heard a little bit more before an edit here. Okay. This leads to hundreds of messages from both parents. This isn't fair. I'm holding firm on no contact with them and my kids until there is an apology at the very minimum. Am I overreacting to my mother, and am I being the jerk and refusing my potentially dying mother to see her youngest granddaughter? Or is this a responsible reaction? And there's an edit. My question, why does she want to see the granddaughter if she doesn't even like the wife?
She's a feral. She's a feral grandma, feral mother-in-law, and they just have rabies foaming out of their mouth just to see grandbabies. That's all they care about.
Give me my grandson.
That is literally, they'll do anything at any cost. They will fake having cancer 4 times. 4 times. Just to see a granddaughter.
Oh.
So I think given the context of they've literally found her out to have done this multiple times. And I mean, listen, if it was actually true that she did have a cancerous growth, we need to give her to Harvard or Yale and have the scientists study them, because she is a scientific analogy.
Wait.
Harvard.
Oh, you were right the first time.
Just kidding.
Yell's the other
I knew
guy.
what I was saying.
I like that. I need to see receipts. I need to see the x-rays, the growth, the doctor explaining it to me. But if that all happened still, she should still apologize.
I mean, it sounds like they found out that she was lying.
Yeah.
But if so, we need her body dedicated to science.
With or without pay.
Oh, hey, with pay, sure, of course. Pay her all the money in the world.
To the survivors of the family.
To her.
To the dying grandma? No.
Yeah, dude.
Her body's not going to be there for long.
She's giving it up to science, cure cancer.
Oh, for the
Yeah.
cancer thing. Okay.
But in all seriousness, she faked it 3 times. Come on.
Ay, ay, ay. All right, we got 2 edits here.
That would suck, though, if she actually did have cancer now.
We're just ragging her.
Classic grandma who cried wolf.
Edit. Many people are commenting on the legal adoption process. My story below reflects that I was told by a court magistrate when I filed the paperwork. I am finding out through your comments that and my own research that it looks like I was stupid on yet another front and got either lied to about what was supposed to happen, or I fundamentally misunderstood something in the process. I'm going to be talking to a friend of the court on this morning.
Uh-oh.
It sounds like he thought that he had legally adopted the kids, but maybe that hasn't 100% happened yet, possibly.
Because if you legally adopt the kids, does the bio dad still have custody?
I truly have no idea. It's probably split, right?
We have to imagine if somebody has kids and they divorce their partner, you both have the kids. So joint custody, just because a kid is adopted doesn't mean you can't have joint custody.
Yeah, so there's probably a split between possibly all 3 of them. Maybe the bio parents and the adopted parent, probably. That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. By the way, you can join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. What do you do, John?
Tap the profile. Just freaking do it.
Edit 2. It appears as if I got was not legal adoption, but legal guardianship, and that I was incorrect about several things. The ex-husband never agreed to give up custody for me to legally adopt them, as the courts granted me guardianship, not adoption, leaving the original story unchanged, so the comments make sense.
Wow. Okay. So it sounds like maybe he's allowed to watch them, but doesn't have a custody like they do, 50-50 custody or whatever. Maybe he doesn't actually have custody. Is that what you're hearing, Anthony?
That sounds right. It sounds like it doesn't change the story.
Yeah, no, it doesn't change the story. Just it helps out with the comments and stuff.
Yeah.
My question is, why, as you're signing it, doesn't it say adoption process, not guardianship process?
Yeah. This is tough because it makes other factors of the story seem a little bit unreliable, even if they aren't. It's just like the whole thing. It's just like, oh,
It's just the whole thing.
if this person didn't know what they were signing on a very serious document, what else can we trust?
I mean,
them on?
it is true that it is a insanely massive blunder on OP's part. However, like just how insane the grandparents are, the mother-in-law and father-in-law, I think that's still, to me, I'm still no contact.
Saying legal guardianship doesn't really mean anything different in the eyes of this woman.
Yeah. Basically, and chat agrees. 98%. 2%. Listen, if you're watching the episode on YouTube, Spotify, drop your comments below.
We want to see you 2%.
If our poll is a survey for everyone, there's 1% to 2% of you that disagrees with this. Please put your debate in the comments, and then people who disagree, please argue with them and
Yes.
let it be known what you think and feel.
Yeah.
But that's the end of that story. We have a surprise guest for you. Someone you've never seen in your life.
Ever
In the history of the show.
What I would consider probably the second handsome man in LA, because the first handsome man is in this room, and it's not me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Samuel Donner!
Yeah!
Riley, you want to come over here?
My wife's dead husband's parents are obsessed with my daughter. I'm getting a little uncomfortable. I've been married to my wife for about 2 years now, and we had our daughter a year ago. Now, my wife was married before. She got married pretty young, but her husband died. I knew all of this and have been fine with it until now. The ghost is coming hot. Also, this comes from r/OK Storytime subreddit. Submit your stories over there. See, she's still pretty close with her dead husband's parents. I feel like you should say late husband. Dead husband just feels so aggressive.
Yeah, and it also makes me think the parents are dead.
Yeah.
It's too confusing.
Still pretty close to her rotting husband's parents.
Corpses.
His corpse's parents. And they were excited for the birth of our child. Okay, so they're involved. FYI, they only had the one son, no other children at all.
They only had one.
They've been coming over to our place about once a week. It was fine at first, but it's gotten kind of suffocating. Kind of feel like her ex-husband. They have been visiting. They didn't say that. They have visited us more time than either her parent or my parents. They've even stayed over our house at times. Something I wouldn't even like even if they were my own parents. Another thing, they talk about their dead son. Wait, they have a dead son too? Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm dead.
Oh, nice. Dude, the Gen Alpha slang. A lot, which is usually fine, but they have made some comments that made me uncomfortable. They even said my daughter kind of looks like him.
Whoa.
I'm not saying that means anything, but I'm also just saying it could. You know, you got together 9 months after that he died. Like,
But that's not his kid, though, right?
it is not allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly can have some immaculate conception going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, ghosts coming back from the dead, delivering some ghost babies. Ghosts coming. Ghosts do be coming. And his mom even said, "Oh, if she's this cute, imagine how cute your kids would have been, if only," when talking to my wife. She was gonna say more, but I think she realized what she was about to say, and I was right there. I want to be amicable, and I know that there was gonna be some moments like this, but it's starting to make me feel really uncomfortable. And there is an update. But question for Riley and John and Anthony: what would you do in this situation? First, is OP the a-hole in any way for being uncomfortable with this? And what do you say to these comments?
One, no, not at all. And then two, I think either sit down, write a letter, whatever is best to get your point across, and be like, I am glad you're in my life, which it sounds like OP is generally, but we need to create some boundaries on these things because this is, OP's still grieving, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Not saying, oh, I wish my dead son could have had babies with, could we just do that? Is that possible?
I think so. To remind everyone, the characters are OP, OP's wife, and then OP's wife's dead ex-husband, and also OP's wife's parents, right? And so I think it might need to come from OP's wife to talk to the parents. If the parents are making OP so uncomfortable with all of this, like, your dead ex-husband's so hot thing, and he would have better babies.
Verbatim.
Let it be known.
Like, I think it needs to come maybe from OP's wife.
I'm not a bit confused. I thought it was the dead partner's parents.
Yeah,
So-
it was a dead partner's.
Yes, dead partner's parents, but I still think, yes, but I guess they were like parents by law. So I think, like, I would have, like, OP's wife is the connection
there.
to the dead parents. So I feel like the wife should talk to the like her parents-in-law.
Whoever has the closest and strongest tie should be the one in relationship should be the one to say that, especially if they're saying this directly to OP.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
Great point.
Yeah. So it definitely is a complex situation, but I think you kind of need to, like, do a little get together with your wife and then maybe draft a message from her.
Yeah. Communicate that, but it's not on OP.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be harder to communicate coming from OP. And the reason I think it would be harder to communicate coming from OP is the parents might interpret it as him just being jealous. Whereas, and are like, oh, you're just jealous because my son was so much hotter than you. And I think if it comes from OP's wife, then it might not come across that way.
Here.
You heard it here first. So we do have some relevant comments and a juicy thick update. So leaving for me says, not the a-hole. They are clinging to you guys in the wake of losing their son, but there needs to be boundaries in place. It begins with a conversation with your wife and working in unison. What does she say? That's what we said. Opie says, my wife thinks it's fine. She says she sees them the same as her own parents. Which I get I get that vibe. Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing at nah.
So background camp 7712 says, nah. You are understandably uncomfortable with the situation. Your wife loves these people like her own parents, which often blinds us to boundary stomping. The late husband's parents are grieving and need more therapy to help them have a healthy relationship with your wife and child. Next time you bring it up to your wife, focus on how it makes you feel and how you think that it can be detrimental to your child. Oh, nah means no a-holes here.
Oh.
No a-holes here. Yeah. I did read it as
like
nah initially.
Nah.
Yeah. It might help you reframe the discussion to ask her to imagine how intrusive this would be if these were your in-laws. Because regardless of the relationship, they are intruding on your life, your home, and potentially your child's mental well-being. Every time your wife tells you it's okay, remind her that it's not okay with you. And don't stop reminding her until the two of you are able to come to an agreement that is workable for both of you. I say this from the POV of having seen my late sister-in-law's mother lose her mind after my sister-in-law died. She tried to take custody of the kids away from my brother. Everything about her grieving process was incredibly toxic to those around her. You are much better off here than my brother was, but that doesn't mean you have to give up your peace of mind in your own home. You're the dad, and you get to have to say in how your kid is raised, treated, and spoken to. And the judgment from all of Reddit is not the a-hole. I do think there are, like, I wouldn't say no a-holes here. I'm curious what you guys think.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's like a responsibility here to, again, like we said earlier, communicate to the parents, and that's not on OP, right? Because the OP's partner is the one that has the close.
And I don't think the parents are a-holes either. They're grieving, and it's not coming from a place of like hatred or like malice intent. It's just sort of like a place of sadness. They don't know what to do with the sadness. They're saying, hey, OP, our son was hotter. You suck.
Verbatim.
Verbatim.
Yeah, I do not like this. I think one, which is actually, I don't think we've talked about a lot on the show and is kind of a good point to talk about, is like, you should obviously support and give people space for grieving. Just because someone is grieving, that doesn't mean they can, do something detrimental to you.
Yeah, and I think if they're, I don't think they're intentional a-holes.
Yeah.
But I think they are a-holes out, like, because of what they're doing. They're making OP uncomfortable in their own home. OP has expressed the discomfort, and I think an a-hole feels a little like harsh for someone dealing with grief, which I realize. But that is the only barometer we have on this show to judge people.
Yeah, exactly. So we say it.
So we say it loud and proud. I think the wife is like more the a-hole than the parents because she's the one that needs to establish
Not standing
boundaries.
up.
Yeah, she's not
Just letting it
standing up.
happen.
Yeah, she's letting it happen after OP said this makes me uncomfortable, which is I think the a-hole move is. So if, yeah.
And when did the husband die again? The dead husband?
The one that's 6 feet deep rotting in the ground? That one?
I don't think we have clarity on that. But again, there is a update.
Okay. Hopefully we have clarity on it. Because I'm confused if it's been like 10 years ago
Yeah.
and they're doing this.
10 years would be like,
But if it's like 2 years, that makes sense.
Also, like, I imagine it has to be a little while because she has a child with another man. Unless it was, unless.
At least 9 months.
Yeah.
turn right around after the funeral.
You meet someone at the funeral.
Yeah, what is that from?
Wedding Crashers. He was like, you thought weddings were good places to talk to girls, but actually funerals more emotionally raw than weddings. Don't do that.
Meatloaf! Ma!
That's good.
What is she doing in there?
4 days later. So I had a talk with my wife about her dead husband's parents. And like clockwork, they actually came this week too. I'm actually writing this after they left and had a talk with my wife. I told my wife that the frequency of these visits is becoming too much and their comments are bothering me. My wife really didn't realize how the comments sounded until I explained them to her. I told her I don't mind them coming over from now and then, but that I want to spend time with her and our daughter when I am not tired from work. She promised me she would talk to them and would make sure they gave us our space and that they would stop with the comments. She also apologized for not saying anything and that while she still loves her dead husband, she loves me and would never treat me as anything less than her husband and father of her daughter. But who do you love more?
Oh my God.
So yeah, I think things turned out okay. Also, I got a vent on something that kept popping up. The child is my biological daughter. Some of you can't read. And there are some relevant comments to close us out that I won't read because OP didn't respond.
Ooh.
goodbye.
But we can talk about it. Yeah, so what do you think?
I think that the wife definitely stepped up more than in the past. And maybe it was the grief, reality distortion fields trying to, not placate, but acquiesce the parents and be kind to the parents that caused this reality distortion field. And, it seems like she understands now it's been broken down. It seems like boundaries are being established.
Yeah.
As long as those are upheld, I think we could be in the clear.
I wonder how the parents will take it because I think OP's wife feels like she understands, but I wonder if the parents will also understand. It feels like OP's wife is like the only connection they really have to their son. It's almost like they're making pilgrimages to their son by seeing the ex-wife.
Yeah, it's a vicarious.
It's a vicarious relationship.
Yeah.
And also if they're seeing like similarities in how their son looked with the daughter, they're like, that's basically my son's daughter.
It is dangerous territory. I honestly think if the boundaries are not respected vigorously, it could be an eventual no contact.
Yeah, or at least
situation.
a distance.
Or at least a distance. At least low contact.
My question is that earlier he did talk to his wife about this, but how did he communicate it? Because she listened now and said something and did something. Was he communicating clearly beforehand that he was bothered by this?
Potentially not. I think what's great about Reddit and also this show is like people are sometimes for the first time putting their thoughts and feelings down on paper. And when it's all in your head, like it could be like, am I making this bigger than it needs to be? Is it is this really as serious as it is? And it might be the first time that he's realizing that it's as serious as he thinks it is, and thus is able to communicate it. So I think you could be right. It could be the first time he's actually doing that.
Effectively.
Yeah. You're welcome. But that's where this episode ends.
That's where the cookie crumbles.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow!